Mash down the lights.
Well, I was born in 1965, July 19th, 1965, University Hospital of the West Indies. My
Welcome to the Port's Garrison. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
Greetings and welcome to the Port's Garrison. I am your host, Phil DePort, and I wanted to thank you for stopping and taking the time to click to watch this video, to listen to what it is that I have to say. Enough respects. Now, recently, Jamaica's opposition leader and the leader of the president of the People's National Party, Mark Golding, was in the tri-state area, where he met with groups of Jamaicans and delivered some degree of message as to what his party wants to achieve when they form the next government. Now, before the function, I was involved in a discussion with some fellow Jamaicans, and one of the subjects that came up was whether Mr. Golding was born in Jamaica or not. And it was amazing to me that this still is a subject that people still getting involved in and worked up about. So after the presentation, there was a question and answer session. And one of the questions, I got up and asked this question as to the nature of his birth and childhood. Where was he born and where was his childhood spent? And this is what Mr. Golding had to say.
Mash down the lights.
Well, I was born in 1965, July 19th, 1965, University Hospital of the West Indies. My father, Professor Sir John Golding, was Jamaica's first orthopedic surgeon. He had come to Jamaica from the UK in 1953, and he was there for a one-year contract en route to the University of Chicago. And then the polio epidemic hit Jamaica of the 1950s, and he had been in the war in Egypt and had experienced the treatment of polio. And so there weren't many people who knew anything about polio in Jamaica. So the government of the day asked him to take charge of the medical response to this epidemic. It was a very serious epidemic, and he established what was then called the polio center. And that over time, as we got on top of polio and we vaccinated the population, and polio is no longer an issue in Jamaica, but it became a rehabilitation center, became Mona Rehabilitation Center, Mona Rehab. And when he died in 1996, it was named after him. So it's now called the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center. My mother grew up in Savlamar, attended her father died when she was 7. He was the head of Savlamar Hospital. He was a surgeon as well. In fact, in my family, if you go back to both of my grandfathers were doctors. My father was a doctor, and my 2 uncles were doctors. So I'm the first generation because I'm a lawyer, but So anyway, my mother went into the civil service in the 50s. And she was one of 3 women who were the first 3 women to be accepted into the Jamaican civil service in an administrative position, as opposed to being a secretary or something of that nature. So she, her and I think Gloria Knight, who went on to be the head of Mutual Life and so on, she and Gloria Knight joined, and one other lady joined at the same time. So when my parents got married, my mother retired or left the government service and went to work with my father at the rehab center as a volunteer. And she spent the rest of her career basically working in a voluntary capacity there. So I grew up on the university campus, and my dad was a professor, as I've told, of orthopedics at UWI, and also was in charge of the rehab center, which is nearby. And so I went to Mona Prep on Hope Road, and then Old Hope Road, and then Campion College, and then I went to Oxford University and did law, and I went to the University of London, did a master's, came back, went to the Norman Manley Law School, and I've never worked anywhere other than Jamaica. I'm a partner in one of the larger I'm the senior partner of one of Jamaica's larger law firms, Hart Muir Fata. And as I said, I was involved in investment banking, Daring, Bunting and Golding, DBNG.
I remember those days.
Yes. We started that. That was a successful investment firm. We sold it to Scotiabank in 2006. And then a few years later, we started another company called Proven Investments, which is still going and is listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So, you know, that's my background. I grew up, as I said, on campus, ride bicycle, climb trees, swim in a river, all those things, you know, football, cricket.
Days, huh?
Yes, love the music. As a teenager, I used to enjoy going to student union to listen sound systems and then other venues and so on. And my wife Sandra, who is Veronica's cousin, she grew up in Augustown, which is very close to the university campus, and we met through a mutual friend. And so, you know, we've been together for many, many years. And we have 3 children and now 3 grandchildren, 3 granddaughters. Yeah. So, you know, that's my story in a nutshell.
Thanks for watching.